Wilt averaged 50 points a game in 1962. MJ averaged 37 in 1987. Harden averaged 36 in 2019. But were these the best seasons that these guys had? Were they the best seasons that their teams had? No. But why? Because of something I want to talk about today, which is balance on offense. So why is it important to have a balance on offense? In a free-flowing team sport like basketball, balance on offense matters for a few reasons. Firstly, with one player dominating the ball, regardless of his level of talent, it becomes much easier to defend. The defense doesn't have to move as much as they have to defend a much smaller area. Secondly, having one player dominate on offense leads to an irregular flow, rhythm, and pace. This leads to inconsistency and frankly a lack of sustainability in the long run. It also typically leads to the volume-dominant player impacting only one aspect of his game. It can lead to one player having too much fatigue due to an excessive workload, which will cause them to slack in other departments necessary for team success. The reality of sports at the top level is that the margins are so fine that games are typically decided on multiple fronts, which is why balance is extremely necessary. Lastly, the other players on the floor don't want to keep running up and down the floor the whole game without touching the ball or touching it sparsely. Basketball is a team game and all players need to be involved. Having a guy just run from corner to corner every possession ends up becoming counterproductive to the team in the long run as you become one-dimensional. As I said earlier, the talent gap at the top isn't nearly as large as we think, and therefore you have to be able to win in different ways. So Wilt averaged 50 in 1962, but his best team was the 67 team where they went 68-13 and won the title. His assists drastically went up and so did his defense. He only averaged 24 a game that season. Was this team more talented than the 62 team? Yes, it was, but they won the title because they had more of a balance and they could win in different ways. When the Warriors played the Rockets in the playoffs, Draymond Green said, "We let James Harden do his thing, but we didn't want the other guys to beat us." Another example of how you have to be able to beat teams on multiple fronts at the top level. How do you do that? You have to have a balance. Let's take a look at some of the best teams in league history and their leading scorers. The 2016 Warriors, leading scorer, averaged 30.1. The 96 Bulls, leading scorer, averaged 30.4. The 97 Bulls, leading scorer, averaged 29.6. The 72 Lakers, two leading scorers, averaged 25.9 and 25.8. You could say the reason for this is the increase in talent of the whole team across the board, and you'd be right. But the whole point here is it's never one guy that gets the job done. It's the team, and to be a great team, you need great balance on the offensive end.